Little update on the Jeep here. Swapped out the grille here for a gloss black OEM grille. I think it looks pretty good. Let me turn off the blinkers really quick so show you guys how it really looks. Because I have the clear blinkers in right now. I think it looks pretty good. Just to kind of change it up a little bit, obviously. Not gonna be permanent. Probably gonna switch back here in a little bit. But I think it looks pretty good with 37s and the setup we got going right now. There's the Commando grill. Show you guys a little bit more of a straight on view. I think it looks good with the color match and the 37s and all that, but I think it also really looks good with the truck light headlights. Little white ring around that. I think that looks really good as well. Only thing that really doesn't match up on the JK is this like body panel stripe, whatever you want to call that. It's not like that on the TJ, obviously. When you change the color on TJ to a black grill, it does the whole entire grill. But I mean, it's still cool. It's kind of like a, you know, a JK trait. Just kind of makes the JK a little different, so not really a big deal. I think it looks pretty good. Show you guys what it looks like with the hood down real quick. Alright, so this is what it looks like with the hood down. I think it looks pretty sick. Just, I mean, you know, changing up scenery a little bit. So, I mean, we're probably not going to be sticking with this, but just kind of nice to change it up every now and then. I think it looks pretty cool. Ride around with it like this for a few days and, you know, see what we go with. But if you guys wonder why we have the hood open and this off, it's because we have been smelling coolant, especially when the air is on, either the heat or just the fan in general. So that's not a good sign. So we kind of wanted to make sure that it was not leaking on the ground, and it's not. So we had the hood open so we can kind of trace all the heat lines. These two lines right here, those run back to the firewall, connected by those two rubber hoses you guys can see, which goes to the heater core. So nothing's leaking up here, and there's no drips or drops on the ground. So we're good there. So obviously, you know, we have a heater core issue and it's getting a little bit worse and worse. So we thought about bypassing the heater core, you know, swapping those two hoses with a loop hose, but have not been able to locate a loop hose other than like a $25 one on the internet. Have not been able to locate one here locally because I just don't know like the size and all that stuff. So looked at a couple auto parts stores and wasn't able to find anything, but that's just until, you know, we can really set aside the time to do this heater core thing. So taking a look here on the interior, obviously if you guys have seen heater core or heard about heater core swaps, the way that it's supposed to be done is you have to take out the entire dash, and I'm not even kidding when I say that, like down to the tub. Let that sink in for a little bit. Yeah, it is crazy. I am in no way, shape, form, or fashion doing all that because you have to disconnect the linkage for the clutch, gas, brake. It's too many things that can go wrong. And, you know, even if you do get all that out and then put it all back in, it's just too much of a risk in my book, just because I don't want to mess up the original seal of all of the linkages. Not only just electricals, but like, I mean, even if I do go out and buy torque wrenches, like for inch pounds and all that, to get all of these bolts and everything back in, I still want the original, like at least the brake linkage originally sealed and connected. I want that to last as long as possible because all that stuff is just so you know, crucial and critical to, you know, safety just in general. So you don't want to be driving down the road and a bolt get loose and, you know, over time fall out and cause a wreck or something. You never know. So I'd rather just leave everything original and do the shortcut method, which is what I was about to talk about. People online are loving the shortcut method. Everybody that I've seen has had really great luck with it. Basically all you do is unbolt this outer dash panel ratchet strap it back, kind of bend it back. I don't think that affects it or anything, but that way that gives you access to the heater core. And then you have to slice this little thin metal support bar for the bottom piece of the dash. You have to slice that out, which I think that's pretty much it. Then you have access to the heater core, and that, in my opinion, is not a concern at all. And, you know, plus I have a roll cage too, so I mean, it's not, you know, that's a lot of extra support for, you know, wrecks or whatever might happen. But yeah, it's a thin little bracket too. Like, you might even be able to see it. No, it's actually behind here, but it's just a thin little cross member for this plastic piece to bolt onto, which you can already see it's already pretty flimsy. So I mean, it's not anything like solid or structural integrity, from what I've seen anyways. So that is definitely going to be the route for me. Not just being like lazy or lack of knowledge, it's just the smarter route in my opinion. So that's probably going to be the route that we're going to go with. And I honestly think it's kind of dumb to do it the other way, because it's just so much. I mean, once you once you have all this cleared out, it's just so much easier to access anyway. So yeah, that will be the next major project for this thing. And as you guys can tell, I have the floor guard out right now, and yeah, the carpet looks shiny. You can see there's a puddle of coolant down here, and that is awesome. I'm about to take the carpet out right now. Yeah, give it a good rinse out and see if I can find where the heater core is actually leaking from. I'm gonna show you guys some footage of that, but that's what we're dealing with right now. You guys can see that nasty coolant there. It smells not so great, nice and sweet. Oh yeah, just pulled this back like literally 10 seconds after I stopped the last clip, and look, yes, you can see it dripping down there. Golly, that's a lot of coolant. Yep, you can definitely smell that. Hopefully, I mean, this might even actually be like a quick little patch or something, like on the heater core. I don't know. I mean, I know it's best to just replace the heater core itself, but I mean, I'm not gonna jump to the worst scenario right off the bat. I'm really trying to figure out how I'm gonna get this out without rubbing coolant all over my seat. And I'm really trying to also be careful, not trying to get coolant on the garage floor, and like knowing where it drips, because I don't want the dogs to lick it, because coolant is lethal and dogs like to lick sweet stuff. So really trying to be careful with that. All right, so I just took a Jeep outside because I didn't want to risk, getting any coolant on the garage. So I might as well just do it out here, since I already know what I'm kind of getting into here. I mean, as you can see, it's just kind of puddled up in the floorboard, and there we go. So that's that. I'm gonna have to rinse that out really good. Some of the greaser, got some right there, not too bad. Mop that up real quick. I think that's pretty much it. I'm gonna rinse out the drain plugs really quick too while I'm at it. And you can see it's dripping steadily from right here. Yeah, you see that drip right there? Okay, so I really have to bypass this because I can't afford a heater core right now until I get paid, and it's gonna be a minute. So that's that situation. I really have to bypass this while I can, so I can drive, because this is gonna obviously keep dripping every time I crank and run an engine. So I mean, even like when I am able to purchase the heater core, it's going to take some time to come in for shipping too. So I mean, we're just really going to have to find a solution to bypass this thing, because I mean, I'm going to have to, at least drive it until I can get it sorted out. So yeah, I'm going to rinse this out really quick and show you guys. I don't even know if there's much point in rinsing this out. I guess I'll just leave the drain plugs out because it's just gonna keep dripping. So that's gonna be that. Okay, I have finally located where the coolant leak is coming from on the heater core. As you can tell, glove box is out. The air duct piece that goes back through there for the feet position for airflow has already been popped out through that in the back seat for now. But finding the coolant leak, as you guys can see, we have a drip right here, that orange coolant, and it's running down right there. It also has been running through here and then down through here, but I don't really know how it's been running down through here. Maybe when the carpet was in there it kind of helped travel, but I just want to make sure that it's not, I mean, I guess I'll have to take out the carpet over there too, just to make sure. But there's two silver shiny little pretty pipes right there, or the heater core pipes. So these two run up and then cover up to the firewall. And now you can kind of get a better idea of why I said you have to take out the entire dash and pretty much everything just to get to that. So the heater core is what those two pipes connect to right there. It's like a little mini radiator behind the dash. Just strap this back, cut this frame piece out, and some people have actually had little, I guess, improvisements that where they have gotten new pieces of steel or whatever and then riveted into this to make this hole again. And so if you cut it in the right places, you can actually rebolt it back up. But that's not really a concern for me. I might just even leave this out, as some other people have done. But once you can get access to the heater core, you got to cut this pipe and then that pipe, obviously. And I'll show you guys underneath where we are currently leaking here without laying in coolant. All right, that's the bottom of the heater core, as you can see right there. I don't know if it's leaking on the elbow joint. I mean, it's definitely leaking maybe on the bottom of it. Hard to really tell, but I don't think it's really traveling down. I did spray in here, so I think some of that's just water spots, but I don't think coolant is traveling to the driver's side. But that's where it's leaking right there. Definitely a bad heater core. Also, another telltale sign was we had heat on this side and we didn't have heat on that side previously, so that kind of, you know, solidifies. And doing this around 11:30 p.m. after work. I just got off work, so it's been a long day, but we are just trying to get an idea because we do have to drive tomorrow. So you know, this is what you got to do when you daily drive a Jeep life. Heater core update. So as you guys saw in the nighttime when we last filmed, basically just showing you guys how the heater core was officially leaking and bad. And as you can already tell, it's, you know, still kind of draining out what's left in the heater core into the floorboard. So we'll have to address that in a little bit, rinse it out. Probably gonna flush the heater core with water so that way there's no more coolant in it. So when it does finally leak out what's left in there, it will be you know, more diluted water, and then try to flush it out with some air or something. But because that we decided to bypass the heater core, and it was supposed to be easy. In theory, it really is easy, but let me show you guys up here. So these are your two heater core lines on the 3.6. So they run right here, not this one, but the original two. Yeah, these two right here. So as you can see, normally these two tubes that I'm touching right here are, you know, they go into the firewall back there, which then connect to the heater core. So what I was going to try to do was, as you can see, I've already got another hose on here. It's not all the way on right here, but to bypass it, and you can tell it's kinked. I'm just going to take this hose back off, which I was in the middle of doing, and I'm going to take this to an auto store and I'll show you guys. I think it's like a 5/8 size or something, but I'll show you guys a little bit better view. So this was actually for the intake. It's supposed to go right here and then connect to this. So I was just kind of test fitting it to see if it was the same size, so I'll know what I'll have to buy when I go to the store. So, you know, it's gonna be this one and this one that need a loop to bypass the heater core. Obviously, we're not gonna have heat. We'll probably just end up fixing the heater core in the winter, just because we are not financially prepared to buy a heater core, and then some other tools that we were gonna buy to make things a little bit easier. So that's not really gonna be necessary right now. And in theory, it should have been a really easy and simple, quick little bypass here. But these hoses are extremely hard to slide off of the aluminum pipes here. As you can see, it's a little bit scarred up from using the flathead and some pliers to kind of crack it loose, and that was the issue we were having, because we were actually going to take, since we got both these off, we were just going to take one of these hoses and just use it as the loop. But as you can see, I have one hose clamp on the right one already pulled off, and I cannot for the life of me get the hose to crack loose and free up on the actual firewall connection to the heater core back here. It's just, if I had more access room, I could do it, but there's just no room. I've fought with it for about 2 hours now, with multiple sets of pliers, small vice grips, large pliers, and it's just not happening. I feel like I'm gonna like bend or break the connector to the heater core, and then we really will have a major issue. I don't even know what I would do at that point. I'd probably just and I'm just gonna throw this hose clamp back up there, and then I'll run these hoses down somewhere after I'd flush it out and kind of dilute everything. But I'm gonna run these down somewhere where they can stay draining, or there shouldn't be anything else coming out of those, but just, you know, out of the way. Might even stuff them like somewhere behind here. There's just no room to do anything back here, unless you take off the top intake, which is a pain. I had to do that recently for the oil pressure switch and spark plugs and all that had that. All right, so here we are back from the auto parts store. I'm gonna show you guys what we ended up doing here. I'm gonna get a little bit of a closer view. So as you can see, we picked up an elbow heater hose right here for like 12 bucks. And this is like its natural shape, pretty much. This side was a little bit longer, this side was a little bit shorter, but this works perfect. It's great. I got some hose clamps on there really tight, and it's a perfect little bypass. So got those all tucked down, so there should not be anything coming out of those, and they're pretty much out of the way. I'm just gonna double check and make sure that it's not like rubbing like the hose clamp. I want to make sure that's not going to be rubbing on the wiring harness back there, so I don't want that to get cut up. But other than that, perfect little bypass solution here for the time being anyways. So until we're more prepared to do the heater core, then this is what we were doing. So Alabama, it's pretty hot, don't really need heat right now anyways, so we're good. Whenever it gets later into winter, close to December, when it actually starts getting cold here, assuming it will, but who knows, then we'll be prepared to do the heater core. So, and then this is obviously the air intake hose that came with the air raid, and this was kind of like a test fit. It's the same size hose, so it's pretty good to kind of take up there to the auto store and look at their selection. But a straight hose, I mean, I even tried putting this on there and it kind of kinked, so I didn't really want to use that. So this should be a lot safer. It's a lot thicker as well, so it shouldn't cause any types of failures whatsoever. So now we have the source cut off of coolant that was supplying the heater core, and obviously that leaking in the cab, not good. So we are nice and functional now for the time being. So really cool little fix there. Pretty interesting on the 3.6. I'm not really sure where it is on the 3.8, but usually you can see where they go into the firewall. It's pretty self-explanatory.